Thursday night shiur tonight is sponsored by the big Gabriel Chai Ben Reuven. May Hashem bless him. Livnot Beit Yaman B'Yisrael.
Amen.
By Ariel Ben Miriam Milu Nishmat. Dora Batzipora. Baruch Hashem Tinichel Began Eden. And the third sponsor is Anonymous. May Hashem bless him with bracha v'atzlacha v'yishol yudalot. Tonight is a very special night. It's a night I remember when I was a kid. The first Hilula that I ever celebrated was the Hilula of the R.MOSHE. As a kid, this was like the first time I ever realized what a Hilula was. Like a usual for a tzaddik was the Ramak. And why is that? R.MOSHE Kordovero. Why is he called Kordovero? Because his family originated from Cordova, from Spain. It was after the year 1492, after the Spanish Inquisition. The Jews were in a state of disarray. The golden age of Spain came to an end, and with it came the end of the greats like the Rambam, Ibn Jabrol, Ibn Ezra, and all these great tzaddikim. The golden age finished, and came a time of great distress for Sephardic Jews. We didn't know where to go. Many Jews ran away to Portugal, the neighboring country, and where King Emmanuel, he invited the Jews, and then after a couple of years he decided to, his kriza flipped. And what did he do? He put all the Jews in one area, and he didn't tell them why he was putting them there. He said, I may give you guys one condition. If you want to convert, you'll stay alive. If not, whoever passes the gates could leave the country. Whoever doesn't, the sword will get him. And we know that many Jews died in very bad deaths. Many Jews ran away from Portugal to Morocco. Over there, I don't want to make kavchova to the Jewish people, but just for history, the Jewish people in Fez, in Morocco, closed the doors to their Jewish brothers. They didn't want the Jews to come in. Why? When the Jews come into a place, all the prices skyrocket. Why? Naturally speaking, Jewish people they enjoy a cleaner environment, cleaner language. They like materialism, living rich lives, so automatically all the prices go up. The Jews in Fez were very afraid if the Jews are going to come from Spain and Portugal, all the prices, real estate is going to go up, so they actually closed the gates to them. And over there the Jews suffered very greatly. The Jews, there was only one country who opened up its gates to the Jews, and Hashem blessed that country with the longest country that has been in power in the history of the world, the Ottoman Empire. The Sultan was the only king who said to the Jews, come to the Turkey. The Turkish king, the Sultan, said to the Jews, come to my country, and don't worry, you can practice your religion, you could be Jewish freely. Of course, the Jews didn't want to listen to him. They were afraid because he was a Muslim, and they didn't believe him. But obviously, the Jews who did go there, they prospered very greatly. It was there in Turkey that the Kordovero family, Rav Moshe Kordovero's parents, made their way till they got where? The Holy Land. And we know there's 4 cities in Israel that have great illumination. They have great power. When you go over there, you feel the power. And they correspond to the 4 elements. The first city is the city of Hebron. Hebron is the city where our forefathers are buried. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Adam HaRishon. It's the city of fire. Till today, any Jew who goes to Hebron, Hashem Yirachem. You're in a very big sakana. But over there is a lot of spirituality. It's Marda Machpelah. Second city is the city of water, Tiberia. Over there you have the great Rambam, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Rabbi Akiva, Ramchal, all the great Tanaim, Rabbi Yirmiyah. The third city is the city of earth, the city of the Malchut, it's Yerushalayim. Who could say that they haven't gone to Yerushalayim and felt some kind of surge in spirituality? And the fourth city is the city of air. It is a city of spirituality, Tzfat. When you go to Tzfat, you don't have you can't help but feel the spirituality over there. Even the people who live there, they're a bit hippie. Even the goyim over there are a bit hippie over there. You know, everything is blue. You know, it's like everything is a kever of a tzaddik in every corner. The Ari HaKadosh is buried over there. Tzfat, and everything over there is like, you know, it's all hills and mountains. Just to live in Tzfat is just to be there, like chavaya. It's an experience. It was there in Tzfat that many anusim, many Maranos, conversos, they made their way from Spain and opened up one of the greatest cities, one of the greatest times for the Jewish people in general. It was called the Messianic period for the Jews. Why was that? It was there in Tzfat after the Spanish Inquisition where Kabbalah was born. Now when I say Kabbalah was born, Kabbalah was learned for many years. Torah Hasod, the secrets of Torah, was learned for many years. But it was learned in secret. It was there in Tzfat that Kabbalah took on a wings of its own and it became public. For the first time it became public. Rav Chaim Vital in his introduction to the Etz Chaim writes the Shalshelet of Kabbalah. Who learned Kabbalah? Over there in the Shalshelet you have Ramban, the Nachmanides. He was a Kabbalist. He learned it from the Ra'avad's sons, Rabbi Yitzchak Saginaor, the Ra'avad himself. Rabbeinu Avraham ben David, the great rabbi of southern France. He was a great mikubal. Even we have a halakha from him that he learned from Eliyahu Hanavi. But they didn't teach people. Why? They were afraid. When you teach these things to people who are not worthy, the teacher gets punished. Bad stuff happened to him. Till today there are books that if you learn it, you get punished for learning them. As a kid, I was in college, and so I got to the bookstore, and there's a book over there. I'm not going to say the name of the book because I don't want you guys to go and buy it. But it's published. You could buy it mamash in any bookstore today. It's crazy the stuff you could buy today. So I go and I pick up this book. I open up this book, and I'm saying, wow, this thing? All the angels' names, all the hechalot, all the this, all the that. And it's not Shorshei Shemot. Shorshei Shemot was written on purpose, and the rabbi who wrote it changed the names over there. You should know it.
Book is black and yellow?
No, it's not black and yellow. It's red and black. Yeah. It's a very thin book. It's a thin book. I'm not going to say the name. And I didn't know what the book was, but for some reason, something stopped me from actually reading it with my mouth. It's the first time. When I read a book, when I read a sefer, I always read it with my mouth because it's Torah Lishma. This book, for some reason, I didn't know what it was. I just read it with my eyes. Later on, many years later, I bought a biography of Rav Yitzchak Kaduri. Rav Yitzchak Kaduri says a very chilling story. A story that gave me goosebumps the first time I read it. In Israel, in Jerusalem, in the city of Jerusalem, there was a yeshiva called Porat Yosef. A very rich guy from India, Bombay, or I think today it's called Mumbai. His name was Yosef Shalom, and he wanted to open up a huge hospital in Yerushalayim. This is before 1948, time of the Ben Ish Chai. He wanted to open up a huge hospital, like for free, a free hospital. And he sent a telegram to the Ben Ish Chai, and he said to him, I want you to bless my endeavors. I want to open up a hospital. The Ben Ish Chai sends him back a telegram, tells him, don't open up the hospital. So he sends him back, why? He says, many people could open up hospitals. If you're not going to open it up, then he's going to open up. Open up a yeshiva. Open up the first Sephardi yeshiva in Jerusalem since the times of Oho. And the guy agreed, this rich guy, and he opened up a yeshiva, and they called it Porat Yosef.
What's the definition of it?
Porat Yosef is what they said about Yosef HaTzadik. Ben Porat Yosef, Ben Porat Ale'ayin. And his name was Yosef Shalom. So they called the yeshiva Porat Yosef. And it's very interesting. The rich guy who gave the money, his name was Yosef Shalom. The Ben Ish Chai's name was Yosef Chaim, and the rabbi who oversaw the whole building, his name was Rav Ben Zion Chazan. All three of their names have to deal with Yerushalayim. Yosef, Zion, it's all the same thing. And in that yeshiva, it's not the Porat Yosef of our days, because that yeshiva was destroyed by the Jordanians. It's this yeshiva Rav Ovadia learned it, Rav Ben Zion of Shaul learned it, all the great Sephardic rabbis learned it. They called it the dream team. There's a specific picture with all the class of Rav Ovadia. You have Rav Ovadia, every single rabbi over there became a giant in Torah. It was the dream team of Torah. So in that yeshiva, which you guys don't know, there was a certain Kabbalistic corner. The Ben Ish Chai sent him a letter, said, listen, the guys who learn Gemara all day, they have to pay to go to the yeshiva. But the guys who learn Kabbalah, you have to pay them. They get 1 lira a week. And the teacher gets like 5 liras a week, and they had a free apartment. A free apartment. There was one Ashkenazi rabbi Ashkenazim always like to deal with weird Kabbalistic stuff. It's like in their blood. When they get into Kabbalah, they always take it the weird way. A very weird way. Not that it's wrong, but they steer from the path, we call it. So this rabbi, he finds this book that I was talking about that I found when I was in college. He found a book and he was begging Rav Yitzchak Kaduri, teach me this book. I want to learn. And Rav Yitzchak Kaduri says, are you crazy? We have a masoret that you're not allowed to, we have a tradition, you're not allowed to read this book. Because when you read this book, you're actually waking up the names of the angels.
But it's okay to learn it with your eyes.
Yeah, with your eyes. You can't say the words.
Yeah.
And he's saying, no, learn it, till the Rosh Yeshiva, Chacham Ephraim HaKohen, etc. Yitzchak Kaduri, this guy is not going to leave you alone. Learn with him a little bit. Let's see what's going to happen. He started to learn with him. In the middle of the learning, Lo Aleinu, Lo Al Am Yisrael, this boy, back in the day, how would they heat up the houses? They had barrels of kerosene. Barrels of kerosene. His son was playing by the window, fell while the barrel was burning hot. And he got burnt alive. The rabbi's son, the Ashkenazi rabbi who was begging him, teach me. From that day on, not only did he disappear from the shiur, he disappeared from the yeshiva. He never came back. So Rav Yitzchak Kaduri writes in his book, in his biography, they write about him. He said never to read this book. Anybody who reads this book, bad stuff happened to him. Tzarot happened to him. That's how the story goes. It's all the malachim over there stuff. You're not allowed to read this book.
So why print it?
Okay? Why print it? For money. The people who print it, they want money. You're not allowed to print these kind of books. Also, Shorshei Shemot. There's a book that R.MOSHE Zachuta wrote. Any name of Hashem that you want to use to do something, it's in there. Any name of Hashem. There was one guy, he decided to use this book. He used the thing, he wanted to find out what's his Shorish Neshama. Everybody always wants to know where his soul comes from, right? He was using the book, and he said God's name. He got into a coma. When my father bought this book many years ago, he had to go through an interview to get this book. I'm serious. He had to go through an interview. Today, you could buy the book in Safra. Why? The publishers, they want to make kesef. Kesef ya'aver enei chachamim v'yisalef divrei tzadikim. Unfortunately, this book shouldn't be opened by people like us. Not only that, the rabbi who wrote this book on purpose switched the names over there that only a real guy who knows it could use it. Okay? So there's many books, but where did it all start? It started in Tzefat. Tzefat is the ear of Ruach, it's the ear of Kabbalah, it's the ear of Sod. And there was one rabbi over there who started to teach it publicly. It was the first Sephardic rabbi. His name was R.MOSHE KORDOVERO. He was such a big tzaddik, such a big chacham. He wrote a book called Tomar Devorah. Tomar Devorah is the palm tree of Devorah. Everybody can find this book anywhere. In any library, anywhere you go, this book is. This book teaches you how to control your anger.
You mean it's a Goyish library you could find it also?
Of course. In all the libraries in the world, the Goyish libraries have more Jewish books than our libraries. You should know that. This book teaches you how to deal with anger. Why anger? Anger is the worst midah in the Kabbalistic books. It's the worst. Anger. Why? When a person gets angry, his neshama inside of him, his Yetzer HaTov, leaves him. What comes instead inside? He gets double Yetzer Hara. Double Yetzer Hara he gets. One that you were born with, and one that comes totally mitzad klipa. Double Yetzer Hara he gets. Ki'ilu oved avodah zarah. And if he had a neshama inside of him of a tzaddik, he loses that too. And if you get angry on Shabbat, it's even worse. Wait, I want to ask you a question first. You're wearing a blue shirt, right? Let's say by mistake you spilled grape juice on your shirt. You're going to get upset?
Buy another one.
Buy another one. But also, why wouldn't you get so upset? Because what's the color of your shirt? It's blue. It's not the end of the world, right? Let's say you're sitting on a Shabbat table and you have a white shirt. One guy once told me he doesn't wear white shirts anymore. Why? He always gets them dirty. Let's say you're sitting on a Shabbat table and you have a white shirt on, and suddenly your son comes, Shtrach! He spills all the grape juice. Abba, I drink myself. At the end, you're drinking for him. How upset you're gonna get. You just said Chechi, I don't want this shirt. And you had kavanot of Shinayin Chet Nehorim. And you had so much kavanah, and suddenly your shirt becomes what? Purple and white. How upset you're gonna get. When you get angry on Shabbat, you basically spilled grape juice in Shamayim. Right now on Shamayim, everything is white, says Rav Moshe Kordovero. It's like you took a grape juice and you spilled it all over on Shamayim. You made everything stain when you get angry on Shabbat. Rav Moshe Kordovero had a brother-in-law. His name was Rav Shlomo Alkabetz. Many of you guys are familiar with the name Alkabetz. I don't know if all the Alkabetzes are related, but Rav Shlomo Alkabetz was a Levi, Shevet Levi. And he's known for the song Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Fene Shabbat. He wrote that song, Lecha Dodi. When did he write it? Every Friday, him and his brother-in-law, Rav Moshe Kordovero, used to go out to the field and accept Shabbat with this song. Until today, we use this song. Now, how did Rav Moshe Kordovero get to the heights of being the father of Kabbalah? The Ari is supposed to be the father of Kabbalah, right? Rav Moshe Kordovero beat him to the punch. Why? How did Rav Moshe Kordovero beat him? Rav Moshe Kordovero had a certain minhag. 6 days a week, he wouldn't be at home. Motzei Shabbat, he used to tell his wife, make me a knapsack, slice of bread, a bottle of Poland spring water, and him and his brother-in-law used to go to Galut for 6 days. Now, Galut today is not like, Galut back then is not like today. Every other block, there's a train station, and there's this, that. They used to go to Galut in the forests of Israel. Snakes, scorpions, why? They used to say, how could we stay at home for 6 days when the Shekhinah is in Galut? And for 6 days, they used to cry on the Shekhinah. Cry. On Shabbat, they used to sing Lecha Dodi and come back home. They used to find their way home. Two brother-in-laws. That's what they used to do. In fact, the book Tomar Torah is extremely important. Why? I'm starting to learn Kabbalah right now. You know, Kabbalah is a very interesting topic. Why? Because everybody wants a little bit of mysticism. Now, you could go to the Rishaim who teach it, and they make everything materialistic, and obviously it's fake. Or you could go to the real stuff. When you go to the real stuff, it's different. Why? Because you actually have to work for it. People think mysticism is like smoking weed. You smoke, you get high, and oh, that's it, I'm spiritual. I once saw a video of Rav Gutman Laks. He's a rabbi in the Kotel. This guy was a guru in India. A guru. He stopped an elephant with his hands. You know that story. Rav Gutman Laks. Till today he's alive. He's Chabad now.
He converted to Judaism?
No, he was Jewish. He was so rich. He was making so much money. He used to buy houses. He used to pay for the whole house in one check. You know what he says in his video? He said if weed would have worked, because in the 60s and 70s, what was everybody doing? All the hippies. Smoking, living in the streets, everybody was loving each other. Yeah, we all one family, this, that. He said if it would have worked, we would be doing it till today. How come we don't do it till today? Because the truth is, it didn't give us the real meaning of what we were looking for. This Rabbi Gutman Laks, when he came back, he was the guru of Central Park. Hollywood actors used to wash his feet in Central Park. They made a movie out of it. He used to say that he learned the power of the guru from the greatest guru. He was a god in India. He used to walk in the streets in India, people used to bow down to him. He was a god. He said he didn't speak for like 4 years. He used to speak in sign language, made up sign language. One day, he said, you know how you know that you got the power of the guru, of the klipa? It's the power of the klipa. You start to hear voices speaking to you. Now, usually if you hear a voice speaking to you, where do they send you? Either to Rikers Island or to Jamaica Hospital over here, to the mental institution. So he said, I heard a voice speaking to me. What does the voice say? Charlie is going to come into the room in 5 minutes. Be'emet, who walked into the room after exactly 5 minutes? Charlie! The voice starts to tell you what are people thinking. How would you like that power? Pretty good, no? Pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of.
But suddenly, the voice would tell you to hit your head on the wall. You want to hit your head on the wall? But the voice is telling you to hit your head on the wall. It's the same voice that's giving you nivuah. And you hit it. Then it's telling you hit harder. You have to hit harder. That's how people used to go crazy, by the way. All these people in India. Unfortunately, in America, I don't know how bad it is today, but in Israel, it's a very big thing. They finish the army. Where do they go? India, Philippines, South America,
Thailand.
where all the klipot is. It's the sea. It's the foundation of all the klippas over there in India, in Thailand, in the Philippines. All these places. This is where Cain's children went. Cain, you know Cain? This is where his sons went. For example, if you go to the South Pacific Islands, you know their god. You're gonna see huge statues of a flying snake. The Midrash said, what was the god of Cain? Cain used to serve a certain god. A flying snake. I have a book. I'm not going to tell you the name of the book.
Anyway, Indian people more intelligent than Muslim.
True. There was, I'm not going to tell you the name of this book. I have this book written anonymously. I found the name of the rabbi later. He passed away. He was an Ashkenazi rabbi. He used to see a Magid. You know what a Magid is? Like the Beit Yosef had a Magid?
Personal tutor.
A prayer to Shamayim. And he used to send this rabbi to the far ends of the earth to do tikkunim. And how would he do tikkunim, by the way? By reading Mishnayot. Everywhere he used to finish 18 chapters a day. 18 chapters, not 18 Mishnayot, 18 chapters of Mishnayot. I tried doing it once. I said, after I finish the book, I said, I'm going to do it too. Finish 18 chapters of Mishnayot. I'm also going to get a Magid. What is this? I also want a Magid. I started doing it. 1 day, 2 days. A week I did it. A month I did it. After a month, I can't do this anymore. This is crazy. You know what 18 chapters of Mishnayot a day is? It takes you the whole day to do it. I don't know how the rabbi used to do it. Rav Natan the Breslov used to do it every single day. It's crazy. So in his book, the Maggid tells him, don't go to the South Pacific Islands. Because if you go there, do your tikkun fast and leave. Why? Everybody over there is full of arayot. They're the children of Cain. Till today, there's stuff like that. Understand? But when you learn the true Torah Hasod, it's work. You gotta work hard to get it. Why? Because it's the truth. Anything that comes easy, goes easy. Takes control of you. Anything that comes hard, sticks with you till the end, you're in control of it. That's the difference. Whenever you do something and it takes control of you, it's not Kedusha, it's Tum'ah. But whenever you do something and you're in control of it, it's Kedusha. That's why drugs, even though it feels good, why is the Torah against it? Because you're not in control. And even if you say you're in control, it's because you're addicted. Why come the Torah allows a man to drink wine? In fact, I'm learning Masechet Nedarim right now, chapter of Talmud of vows. Very interesting tractate. It says over there, anybody who takes upon himself to be a Nazir, after you're a Nazir, what kind of korban you bring? Korban Chata. What did he do wrong, Bechoregi? What's a Korban Chata? I made a sin, I gotta bring a sin offering. Why does a Nazir bring a sin offering at the end? Because he stopped himself from drinking wine. God created wine on this world so you could drink. You have to be b'simcha. How come you're not b'simcha? You're a Nazir. If you learn the Zohar, what's a Nazir? He's higher than a Kohen Gadol. He's Bichinat Arich. He's Keter. Kohen is Chochmah, he's Chesed. A Nazir is, but he brings a sin offering. Why? He stopped himself from drinking wine. God created wine for you to enjoy. How come the Shulchan Aruch says, if you take upon yourself a fast, because I just want to fast, you're a sinner. God created food so you could what? Eat. If you're fasting because you sin, it's something else. You understand what I'm saying? Well, you see the differences over here? God created Torah so we can learn it. You must learn Torah, Rabotai, every single day. Torah is your life. You never mivatel. I remember when I started learning Torah Hasod, my first time, a long time ago. So this guy used to teach us. I remember, it was very far. It was my wife's cousin's engagement that night. In the night of the shiur. And I said to the rabbi, listen, I can't come and learn. It's my wife, she's her cousin, she's going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. Shalom. You know how they say always? Shalom bayit, shalom bayit. Rabbi said, what? You're going to be mevatel a shiur for a party? If you're going to do that, don't ever come back. You're not serious. I learned a life lesson from that on. You're never mevatel a shiur kavua. Even if your wife is giving birth, you got to go to a shiur kavua.
Did you ask?
Anyways, you have nothing to do over there. That's why my wife gave birth on Pesach. There's no shiurim on Pesach. That's why Hashem sent me over there on Pesach. Understand? If you have a shiur, you have to give a shiur. If you go to shiur every Wednesday, guess what? You gotta come every Wednesday. Every Thursday, you gotta come every Thursday. That's the sod. That's the sod. If you want to be successful, wait a second. You want to be successful. You're never allowed to miss a shiur. Never one time in your life. It's hard. That's the whole point. And I'm gonna tell you a secret of secrets. Anytime you do a mitzvah, anytime. If you read the old Lashem Yechud of the old Kabbalists, the old ones, of Natan Shapira, all those old Kabbalists, every Lashem Yechud, you know what's written over there? Hashem, please help me, that everyone should help me do it. What? I'm putting tzitzit on. Everybody has to help me put on tzitzit? Did anybody ever help me put on tzitzit? Somebody put on tzitzit. Come on, what kind of weird wording? The Ari HaKadosh explains, before you do a mitzvah, there always has to be a test. Always. And you could never defeat that test unless everyone is helping you. Who's everyone? Pamalya shel mala. You know what Pamalya shel mala means? The heavenly courts. Before you do a mitzvah, you know there's an angel helping you? Before you... How come there are some people, Wednesday night comes... not Wednesday night, I don't want to sound biased over here. Let's say Monday night you have a shiur. Monday night comes, your shiur comes, suddenly, you know what, I'm going to miss it today. But the other guys come. How come he made it and you didn't? Because he had help from Malachim, and you didn't. That's the difference. That's why before we do it, we say, L'Shem Yahud! You need help, you need to see you up.
He had help from angels?
You also do. To get over here, you had help from angels.
So it's not in my control.
It is in your control. I said you get help. You have the will, you have the spark, but you need to push. But only if you awaken that want. You need to awaken it. How come some people don't? I know I never understood this. Some people don't want to wear tefillin. I never understood it. Tefillin is such an attractive mitzvah. You're wearing the Torah on you. How could you not want to wear tefillin? How? For the love of God. So you just don't want to wear it. I want to. I'm tired. How tired could you be? If a girl is going to call you right now, how fast are you going to run?
Real fast.
Run. He's going to float. How come tefillin that doesn't have him? You don't have the spark. You don't have the will. You need a siyua.
We need angels.
You need angels. Angels in the outfield. You understand? You need angels to help you. That's why we said the Shem Yehud. Rav Moshe Kordovero says something amazing. And I'm going to tell you the secret once somebody asked me this question. And this is going to be a very big life lesson. You know, Chesed is a very big part of Judaism. Chesed. You know what Chesed is? Chesed means to give. To give is a very big part of Judaism. To give to a person. Somebody sent me, I didn't want to open it, but it was interesting. There's a very big Hollywood actor. And they just interviewed him. It was all over the news. And they interviewed him, and you know what he said on the interview? He said, I did everything. I did all the shtuyot, if you know what I mean. I've been with all the shtuyot. I tried all the shtuyot. I had fame. I have fame. He's still very famous. I have richness. I have kids. I have a wife. None of this means anything to me as when I help another person. Could you imagine a goy to say such a thing? I'm not going to say who said it, because I don't want you guys to Google it now. A goy said this. A goy in your Torah says that you have to be a man of chesed. Chesed is not only when you give to your friend. Rav Moshe Kordovero says when your wife asks you to throw out the, it's his word, I'm telling you. I'm just spicing it up a bit. Rav Moshe Kordovero said, when your wife asks you to throw out the garbage, and you go out and throw the garbage, don't think it's your obligation to throw out the garbage. And if you will throw out the garbage, you're doing a mitzvah of chesed right now. Your wife asked you to change your kids' diapers. It's a Tomar Devorah, mamash, Tomar Devorah. You guys probably never got that far.
Maybe you have a different one.
I think I have a different one. Your wife asked you to change your kids' diapers. It's in the chesed. Where you see chesed over there, he goes by sfirot. And you don't want to change your kids' diapers. Why? Because every time you change it, you have to wear gloves. You're a princess. You have to wear gloves. And you're going to change it? You're doing chesed. You're doing chesed. That's how I tap in. I want to live by chesed. I want God to give me chesed right now. You got to do these mitzvot. Don't think I'm obligated to. If you do it, it's chesed. Now, how I become givurah? You know what givurah is? Your wife asks you for a gift. And you buy her a gift, you're tapping into the sphira of givurah. That's givurah. Why? To give your wife is givurah. Why? Because before you give, you're a kamtzan. You know what a kamtzan is? You're cheap, you're stingy, you don't want to give it. To open up your hand, what do you need? You need to have givurah to fight it. You got to break open that hand. Give! Somebody asks you for tzedakah. It's hard to give tzedakah, right? For some people, it's hard. I remember reading a story about Syrian Jews in Deal. They have auctions. Who's going to give the most tzedakah in Deal, New Jersey? I don't know if they still do it. They still do it? You ever heard of it? It's a famous thing that they have every summer. And this guy says, I give 10,000. He says, oh, he's giving 10,000? Like 15,000. Oh, 15, 20,000. They go to like $1 million. They have auctions for tzedakah. It's crazy. You want to get the money? So there was one time, a Bukharian guy was a rich, like filthy rich Bukharian guy, gets invited by a Syrian friend from the city. Syrians are mostly into textile and real estate. Bukharians are into jewelry. He sees what's going on over there because the Syrian guy wanted to convince the guy to give tzedakah. Because this Bukharian guy, every Shabbat, he gives chai dollars and he thinks he's the tzaddik yesod olam. He gives chai, he thinks he's the tzaddik. So he's getting high. It starts off 10,000. What the heck, he says? 10,000 for what? No, we auction up who's giving the most tzedakah. So he tells the guy, give some money, give. He takes out his checkbook. The guy says a story, a Syrian guy. His hands were shaking like this. Write a $10,000 check? Are you kidding me? How can I do this thing? It's money. I work for it. He didn't give it at the end. He didn't give it. Because to give it, you need givurah, says R.MOSHE Kordovero. Now, R.MOSHE Kordovero, this is going to be the shiur for the night. This is Nishmat and the Hatzlacha. R.MOSHE Kordovero, he introduced the concept of Kabbalah in terms of Sefirot. Now, when it comes to Kabbalah, to Torah Hasod, secrets of the Torah, standing, we have two fathers, two ways you could learn it. We have Kabbalat Ha'ari, Lurianic Kabbalah, and then we have Kabbalat HaRamak, the Kabbalah that was introduced by the Ramak, Kordoverian Kabbalah. What's the difference? The Ramak explained everything in terms of Sfirot. What are Sfirot? 10 bottled up spheres, energies, clothing of Hashem, if you will. The Ramak said everything could be explained through the 10 Sefirot. You have over here Keter. Keter is the crown. Then you have to the right of it Chokhmah. Chokhmah is what? Chokhmah is wisdom. To the left of Chokhmah, it's soulmate. Every sphera has a soulmate. Chokhmah soulmate is what? Bina, understanding. Their child. When Chokhmah, when in your brain, Chokhmah and Bina come together, when your wisdom and your understanding, it creates a child. What is that child? Midot. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. What is that? Chesed is kindness. Gvura is strength. Tiferet is beauty. Netzach is infinite. Infinite. Hod is splendor. Yesod is the foundation. This is the children of when your brain thinks of a thought. These are the 6 spheres that's your actions basically. But they don't come into the fruition until we reach the 10th sphera, which is also called Malchut. Malchut is kingship. A person who has all 9 of this is a king. If you're fulfilled your destiny. Okay? Now we have another name for the sphere called Malchut. This is where people get confused. It's called the Shekhinah. God's divine presence. Okay? It's called the Shekhinah. How come this is very important? The Ramak said all of our job, he tried to make it very simple. This is a world. This is called the world of Atzilut. Every night at midnight, and in Ben HaMetzarim, it happens also at midday, the Malchut, which is God's divine presence, goes down into the Klippa. Chas v'shalom. What's the Klippa? That's the realm of the Satan. The realm of the Satan, if you will. Our job as Jews is very simple. You have one job. It's like lahavdil billionei avdalot. You're playing a video game, and you have one goal. What's that goal? We have one goal, guys. Bring her back up. That's it. That's your goal. You gotta bring her back up. How do you do that? How do you do? At midnight we cry for her. We cry from her by wearing tefillin. In the morning. It goes back up in the morning and it materializes into your tefillin shaliyad. Do you guys just understand what I said? I just gave you such a chidush. If you didn't feel a goosebump, something is wrong with you. You're wearing the Shekhinah on your hand. Did you guys just understand what I said? Tefillin is the Shekhinah. Okay? It's unbelievable what mitzvot are. Now, not just tefillin. Tefillin is a very big mitzvah. Every mitzvah that I do, I'm picking her back up. Now, all together, when she goes down, why does she go down? Why does God send His divine presence down there? Inside the klipa, you know what this stuff is? Those are sparks. Holy sparks. How did they get there, guys? The Ramak said there was a destruction and he didn't explain. There was a bang, there was a blow, there was an atomic bomb. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to open this up because I'm getting really hot. There was a bang, there was a destruction. And he goes on in his book, Pardes Rimonim, the orchard of pomegranates, to explain every sphera and their colors, this and that. It's very hard to grasp what he's saying. It's very Sfaradim don't learn his books of Kabbalah. Why? It's very hard to grasp. And we have a Masoret from the Rabbi Chaim Vital that he was originally the student of the Ramak. He was originally a student. And he told the Ari, after the Ari died, which Kabbalah are they learning in Shamayim? Yours or the Ramak's? And the Ari said it's really the same thing. You guys just don't understand how it's the same thing, but they learn my way. So we learn Kabbalah Ta'ari. Now I'm going to explain to you guys Kabbalah in 10 minutes. Kabbalah for dummies. Alright? This way, when we give a shiur, you guys will know what's flying. Okay? Let me erase this. Now, the Ari HaKadosh said something amazing. He said, yes, there are 10 sfirot, 10 levushim of Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ein Sof Yachid U'Miyuchad. But, that's only the microcosm. You need to see the macro, the big picture. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just look what's a cell. You gotta look at the body. You gotta look at a human. You gotta look at the Adam. And the Ari said, when God created this world, if you will, if you could imagine, this is all the light of God, the Ein Sof. All of this is Ein Sof. It's infinite. It's Hashem. When God decided to create the world, when He decided to create the world, in the middle, whatever that means, I'm not going to explain to you right now how could the infinite have a middle, because that's a very big question in Kabbalah, and unless you guys are going to come to the new shiur, I'm not going to explain it to you right now, so you're just going to take my word for it. In the middle, quote unquote, of His infinite light, He constricted Himself and created a dot of nothingness. That's called the Tzimtzum. Tzimtzum is the black hole, it's the void. Inside this black hole, inside this void, where there is nothing inside, godliness is out. He took it out. Now, if the black hole is inside nothingness, what does that make the black hole itself? It's basically a black hole of infinity. It's almost endless, right? If we could imagine such a thing, it's almost impossible to imagine. What could a void inside infinite be? That's called the Tzimtzum. Now imagine this black hole is the whole board. Imagine this whole thing is black, it's the void. God now wants to create the world. Why He decided to create the world? Why He wanted to do it, we'll never know. Until Olam Haba. But once He decided to create it, He had to create it. Why? Why did He have to create it once He decided to create it? Because God is perfect. And once He decides to do something, it must happen. You understand what I'm saying? Once the thought, the Ratzon HaPashut, as the Mekubalim call it, decided I'm creating it, it had to be created. It must have been created, says the Ari HaKadosh. Because the Eshes Shirot were created instantly. And inside this black hole, He put inside from the top end, whatever that means, I'm not going to explain it now, a chut, a thin pipe, and inside that pipe is an overflowing abundance of His infinite light, and He created worlds inside, worlds after worlds after worlds, billions and trillions of worlds, quadrillions of worlds. I don't know what's more than trillion. Almost endless amount of worlds, but it's not endless. There's only one thing in this world that's infinite, that's God. The first world that we're allowed to talk about is called Ak. You guys are lucky my father is not here. If he was here, he would check me. So this world is called Ak. That's the first world we could talk about.
Wait till you see it.
Inside this world, it's the first world. We're not even allowed to say its name. We just call it like this, Ak. It's such a high level. There's no kavanot in it, except one time when you're eating food. Would you believe it? Imagine what's eating food. Inside this world has 10 sefirot. But it's such a high world, we don't even call it sefirot over there. You know what we call it? Names. We call it names. There's 4 main names of God. Shem Ab, Shem Sad, Shem Ma, and Shem Ben. When you first start learning the secrets of the Torah, you have to live with these names. You know what I'm saying? You have to breathe them. Because these 4 names, He's the source of all life. What are these names? It's basically the names of God when I spell it out. There's 4 different ways to spell out Hashem's name. God's name is Yud, K, Vav, K, right? So this Yud, I could spell it out. Yud, Vav, and a Dalet, right? K, the Hey, I could spell out K and a Yud. How do you say Hey? Hey, Hey Yud, right? Vav is Vav, then a Yud, Vav, Vav. And the last one, K. A K and a Yud. If I take the whole numerical value, I get Ab, 72. Or also, Chesed. Chesed is how much? 72. Okay? Now, I'm not gonna, this is a crash course, so I can't explain to you how it all happened. Basically, this part, we don't talk about. We don't talk about it. When do we start talking about it? We start talking about when it comes to the 63, Shem Sag. And we also call it the world of the ear. When you hear the Sefer Torah, don't think you're doing nothing. When you hear the Sefer Torah, you're moving this world. You're moving it. Imagine what kind of Baal Korahs are out there. To be a Baal Korah, you have to be on a very high level. It's no less than being a Mohel, than being a Shohet, a Sofer. It's a very big thing. Now what happened, every one of these names includes in it one of these names. That means Ab, has in it Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ben. Sag has in it Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ben, and so on and so forth, right? I don't want to get too deep. So we call it in short, Asmab de Ab, Asmab de Sag, Asmab de Ma, and Asmab de Ben. Each one has in it the other one, right? It's like you have a heart, you have lungs, and you have a kidney. And you have a heart, lungs, and a kidney. Everybody has heart, lungs, and kidneys, right? This world over here, Shem Sag. Sag of the Sag. When God decided to materialize it, the vessels couldn't hold the light. And what happened to the vessel? It shattered. I like that word. It shattered. How many vessels shattered? 10. Right? It's really 7 vessels shattered, but the other 3 there was a kind of a shattering. Alright? A kind of like a minute shattering. They cracked. They blew up. And the Satan was created. Satan is created from chaos. And the Ari HaKadosh explains, when it shattered these 7 vessels and a little bit from the other 3, it created how many sparks? 288. Okay? How do we get 288? If I take 72 times 4 is how much? 288. You guys got it? Your job in this world is to pick these sparks up. That's it. Crash course.
But the shatter happened inside the Sag.
Yeah.
So why is it
Sag, the Sag also has Asma.
Yeah, but why we count 288 of Abda?
No. We count 288 Asma. I just pointed over here. You understand what I'm saying? Your job in this world right now. Let's say you know a guy who needs refuah shlema. He's sick. Let me just erase this part of the board. I know a guy who's sick. Every day in tefillah, I say a blessing. Baruch atah Hashem, Rofeh Chole Amo Yisrael. Right? Let's spell it out. Rofeh Chole Amo Yisrael. What's the first letter of Rofeh? Reish. What's the first letter of Chole? Zachet. Ayin is 70 and a Yud mixed together what?
80.
Pay, 80. You know why people get sick? Because they didn't pick up the sparks. They were that means everybody has a different potential. You got to pick up 10 million of them. You got to pick up 20 million of them. You got to pick up 30 million of them. When you get too lazy on your potential, that's when you start to get sick. Why does Hashem make you sick? Making a person sick is the easiest way to make him do teshuvah. And when a person does teshuvah, like we said yesterday in the shiur, what does he do? He goes back in time. It's unbelievable. It's like a time machine. And that's your job in this world. This is what the Ramak taught us. This is what the Ari taught us. This is your job inside this world. This is what you gotta do. If you don't do this, what happens? When you go in Shamayim, the guy who did this, he wasn't very famous. They didn't bow down and call him Gadol Hador, Gadol Hador. They didn't kiss his hand saying Rabbeinu, Rabbeinu, Rabbeinu. But you know what's going to happen? After 120 years, those guys, they said Rabbeinu, Rabbeinu to them, and they called him Rabbeinu and Gadol Hador. He's going to go to Shamayim, he's going to see his palace. It's going to be like one of those houses on Jamaica Estates. It's pretty big, no? And then he's going to see his neighbors. The guy who did this. But he was very humble. Nobody knew that he did these kind of stuff. He didn't just have a palace. He has his own country. Acres of land. He said, how did he get this? All my life I learned Gemara and Halachot. And I have such a small house. Only 10 bedrooms. And this guy has his home country. So you know what they're going to say? Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says, Zichrono Livracha, what a guy does, learning Gemara in a year, the amount of sparks he picks up in a year for learning Gemara, it's his words, it's not mine. I don't know who's watching this, but don't go against me. It's Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya's words in his Hakdama of Etz Chaim, Beit Lacham Yehuda. What a guy does learning Gemara in a year, a guy who learns this stuff does in 1 hour. Now you could tell the difference. You understand what I'm saying? The amount of sparks you pick up doing this in an hour, it takes a guy learning Gemara in a year. Why? When he's learning Gemara, you must learn Gemara. The Ari says you must. You have to fill your kresov v'shasu poskim. But it's the mashal. This is the nimshal. This is the reality. Okay? This is what the malachim were fighting with Moshe Rabbeinu. When Moshe went up to the mountain, the angels were fighting with him. Take the Torah, don't take the Torah. Take the Torah, don't take the Torah, right? And then what happened? At the end, he took the Torah. So the Mefarshim say, what were they fighting with Moshe about? Yaakov knew the Torah, knew the Torah. Yitzchak knew the Torah, knew the Torah. Abraham knew the Torah, knew the Torah. They were not fighting over the 5 books. They were fighting on the secrets of the Torah. Is man worthy of learning the secrets of the Torah? It was like a father. It's a famous mashal. I think I heard it from Eli Mansour. There's a father who died, and he made all of his money into a couple of big diamonds, and he put it in a shirt. And he said, and he had 4 sons. Each son was very smart. And when he died, he said the guy who could figure out what to do with this shirt, he owns the diamonds inside. So each son went to the Beit Din. This son said, well, the shirt is Gucci. And when I was a kid, I always used to wear Gucci shirts. And this one said, no, everybody said their own shit. No, my father put it in here. He put this diamonds like this. The youngest son said, why don't we just try the shirt? The one the shirt fits, he's the owner of the diamonds. And the Beit Din said he's the owner. He gets the inheritance. Why? That's Kabbalah. And when you learn Pshat, you must learn it. You might learn to do halachot. You must. But what happens? You start to be very abstract. You start to be very hot-headed. You know what this does to you? It makes you love every Jew. If you learn this and you start to hate Jews, it's not for you. If you learn this and you start to love Jews even more, this is for you. So Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, may the schut of Moshe Kordovero be Magen Aleinu, the schut of Ari HaKadosh, and all the sponsors of Hashem Yitbarach. May Hashem bless you guys with bracha, tzlacha, yeshuot, refuah shlema, v'chen yiratzon, Amen. We have 10.